My name is Robert. I'm 82 years old, and there's a name I've never said out loud. Not once, not in 61 years.
I've thought it. I've written it down on paper and then burned the paper. I've whispered it in my head while driving alone on empty highways, but I have never let it leave my mouth where another person could hear it. And I think that's the thing I'll carry with me when I go. Not the big mistakes, not the arguments or the money I lost or the job I didn't get. Just that name, sitting in my chest like a stone I swallowed when I was young and never coughed up. I don't know why I'm recording this now. Maybe because I can feel time running thin. Maybe because I'm tired of carrying it alone. Maybe because I want to say it, once, even if it's just into a microphone in an empty room. Her name was Elena. There, I said it. Elena. I met her in 1963. I was 21, she was 19. We worked at the same place, a printing shop on the south side of town. I ran the press, she worked the front counter, took orders, wrote up invoices in neat handwriting that slanted to the right. She had dark hair, brown eyes, a quiet way of laughing that made you feel like you'd done something right. I noticed her the first week, but I didn't say much. I was shy back then. Didn't know how to talk to women without stumbling over my words. So I just watched her from across the room and told myself maybe someday I'd work up the nerve. Then one afternoon in late April, she came back to the press room to ask me a question about a job. I remember the light coming through the window behind her. I remember the smell of ink and oil and paper. I remember the way she tucked her hair behind her ear while she waited for me to answer. And I felt something I'd never felt before. Not attraction. I mean, yes, that too, but something deeper. Something that scared me. Like I was standing at the edge of something enormous, and if I stepped forward, my whole life would change. So I didn't step forward. I answered her question. She thanked me. She went back to the front, and I stood there with ink on my hands, breathing hard, telling myself I was being ridiculous. After that, we started talking more. Small things. Weather, weekend plans, how her sister was getting married, how my father wanted me to take over his contracting business, but I wasn't sure I wanted to. She listened when I talked, really listened, like what I said mattered. And I started looking for excuses to walk past the front desk, to bring her coffee, to stay late on nights when I knew she was closing up. I never told her how I felt. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But every time I got close, something stopped me. Fear, I think. Fear that she didn't feel the same way. Fear that I'd ruined the friendship we had. Fear that I wasn't good enough, wasn't smart enough. Not the kind of man a girl like her would want. So I stayed quiet, and I told myself there was time. Then one day in June, she didn't come to work. Her friend at the front desk said she'd called in sick. Nothing serious, just a cold. She was gone for 3 days. When she came back, she seemed different, quieter. She didn't smile as much. I asked if she was okay. She said she was fine, but I could tell she wasn't. A week later, I overheard her talking to another girl in the break room. She said she was moving. Her family was relocating to Oregon. Her father had taken a job out there. They were leaving at the end of the month. I felt something collapse inside me. I thought about going to it right then, telling her I didn't want her to go,
telling her I'd been thinking about her every day for months, telling her I wanted to know if maybe, just maybe, she felt the same way. But I didn't. I stood outside the break room with my hand on the door frame, and I walked away. Her last day was a Friday. Everyone in the shop signed a card for her, wished her well, told her to write. I signed a card too. I wrote something generic. Good luck, take care. I didn't write what I wanted to write. At the end of the day, after everyone else had left, I found her in the back room, packing up the last of her things. She looked up when I walked in. "Hey, Robert." "Hey." We stood there for a minute, not saying anything. Then she said, "I'm going to miss this place." I nodded. "Yeah, we'll miss you too." She smiled a little, sad smile. "Will you?" she asked. And I knew what she was really asking. I could feel it in the air between us, the question she wasn't saying out loud. Will you miss me? Do you feel what I feel? Is there something here worth saying before I go? I looked at her. I opened my mouth, and I said, "Of course, everyone will." Her face changed just a little, like a light going out behind her eyes. She nodded. "Right. Well, take care, Robert." "You too." She picked up her box and walked out. I stood there alone in that back room, listening to her footsteps fade down the hallway, and I knew I'd just made the worst mistake of my life. I told myself I'd write to her. I got her address from the office before they threw out the old employee files. I sat down a dozen times with a pen and paper, but I never sent anything. What was I supposed to say? I was too scared to tell you I loved you, but now that you're 1,000 miles away, I thought I'd let you know? It felt pathetic. So I stayed quiet, and weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. I met my wife, Linda, in 1966. She was kind, steady. We had a good life together. 2 kids, a house, 37 years before she passed. I loved Linda. I really did. But I never stopped thinking about Elena. Not in a way that consumed me, not in a way that ruined what I had, but in a way that lived quietly in the back of my mind, like a song I used to know that I couldn't quite remember the words to. I wondered where she was, if she was happy, if she ever thought about me. I wondered what would have happened if I had been brave enough to say her name out loud that day in the back room. In 2011, I tried to find her. Linda had been gone for 3 years. The kids were grown. I was retired. I had time. So I searched online, looked through old records, asked around. I found an obituary. Elena had died in 2009. Cancer. She was 65. She'd been married, had 3 children, lived in Portland her whole adult life. There was a photo with the obituary, an older version of the girl I remembered. Same eyes, same quiet smile. I sat at my computer and stared at that photo for a long time, and I cried. Not because I'd lost her. I had lost her back in 1963, but because I never told her, because I'd let fear decide for me, because there was a version of my life I never got to live, and it was my own fault. I don't know if she felt the same way. Maybe she didn't. Maybe I built it all up in my head. Maybe that question she almost asked in the back room was just me projecting what I wanted to hear. But I think she did. I think she was waiting for me to say something. And when I didn't, she moved on. She built a life, a good one by the looks of it, but I wonder sometimes if she ever thought about me, if she ever replayed that last conversation in her head and wished I'd said something different. I wonder if she carried my name the way I carried hers. I'm not telling you this because I want you to feel sorry for me. I don't. I made my choice. I lived with it. I had a good life despite it. But I think about all the things we don't say, all the names we carry in silence, all the moments we let slip by because we're scared or unsure or waiting for the perfect time that never comes. And I think about how permanent those choices become, how you can't go back, how the people you didn't speak to move away or move on or pass away, and the chance is gone forever. I'm 82 now. I've got maybe a few more years if I'm lucky,